Hello, Renee Flamond here. Look at Min. Min. Hi, honey. She's joining us. You guys, today I want to talk about, because everyone wonders this, and I asked my own narcissist this very question. It was one that I grappled. I said, I don't understand why you're bothering. Even when I was the old supply, I was wondering, why are you bothering with me? When he was with me, I was wondering, why are you bothering with her? She lives across the country. I don't understand. What are you doing? Oh, we have business. Whatever. I didn't get it. And I used to think, isn't it work? How do they keep up? Supply everywhere? Nurturing all of that, keeping conversations going and text stations going and visits going, and how do they keep it up? Why do they bother? Well, first of all, we have to remember they're not really giving anything to anyone. So their overall effort is minuscule. So, you're thinking in terms of yourself as a normal, non-disordered person, what it would look like if you were juggling, say, 4 people at once. And you're thinking, oh my God, I could never. How could it? They're breadcrumbing 4 people. Texting, calling, stopping by, hanging out with, sleeping over. Oh, I'm going away for a week. Sees this one in the meantime. They're not giving 100% of themselves like you're thinking you are in a relationship times 4. That's not what they're doing. So their effort is minuscule. So for them to bother with old supply, as to that question, why do they bother? Why don't they just want to be happy with me? I give them everything. We've all identified these feelings with these feelings. And some of us know already, and some of us are new, and we need to teach them. The answer is because they need new people. I'm sorry if you're hearing this for the first time. They need to keep as many options available to them as possible. Like I said, some of us know this already and some of us are new, and we want to always make sure we talk to. I think sometimes my topics, I forget that there are new people tuning in, and my topics get away from the meat of this disorder. And the other day I read a comment, and it was from a new person, and it always sparks me back, and we got to remind them. So they keep a lot of their supply, as much as they can, because they never know who they'll need, or if they'll need company with someone, anyone. So they stock their phone with numbers. Think of it as a file cabinet system. So at any moment, they can go into those numbers. Again, you being non-disordered, you probably can't picture that behavior. But what a narcissist will do, and now anyone in their phone is old supply. Say they're with a girlfriend and they had a fight. Whatever. She made him feel bad about himself. My pronoun is a he for romance, so then all the pronouns follow. You put all your pronouns in the way you want, okay? So he goes to his phone and he looks up 20 people, say. He goes through all the numbers and he shoots each one of them. All women he's either dated, flirted with, met somewhere, hasn't gone out with yet, something that's kind of cheeky. And he could text 20 people the same thing, and if anyone bites, he could have a date by tomorrow. He likes to know, or she, the narcissist, likes to know that they are 1.5 degrees away from being able to keep company with someone else. Should they just feel like it? Or should their ego get bruised in the relationship they're in? Or should they feel like variety? or should they feel like making someone fall in love with them? They get a charge out of that. That love bombing that they do to you that makes you fall in love, they get a charge out of watching you fall in love. So maybe it's stale at home or stale with the girlfriend, and she's not really acting in awe of him anymore. So he's going to call on Old Supply that he's hoping by now forgot all the bad, and he's going to put on the charm and do the love bombing and hope that they hang out. Give him some words for his ego. Make him feel loved. He can't do this if he doesn't keep Old Supply. It's not as easy as, pie to just go. I don't know what that expression means, but I was going to say easy as you think, but I didn't want to say that because you probably don't think it's easy. But they don't just go out and meet people whenever they want new supply. It's not that easy. I mean, you have to meet people, charm them. You got to be in the mood. You got to get out there. I mean, come on. So they rely on Old Supply. My narcissist used to say to me, because his phone never stopped ringing. It was like always ringing. And he would always say, I don't get rid of any numbers. I don't delete anyone. I've had the same phone 30 years. I'm not hiding anything. Which only meant it's a phone. Anyone can call your number and doesn't mean you're not hiding anything. You can just not show people what's on your phone. But he was very proud of that. I don't burn any bridges. I keep everything open. That is how he saw his life. I saw it as the vocabulary I just told you. And once I started learning about this, I said, do you understand that you keep everybody in your phone as like Old Supply? And you call on, and I would name them all that I had seen in his phone. I said, because you need an ego boost. You can't even get to that one. She lives across the country. And you're texting her, I love you. She's my friend. No, she's not. Oh my God. Do you know what I mean? They need an ego boost. This girl used to take his call after the horrific things he did to her. And I read their text conversation, and she's congenial and saying complimentary things. So they keep that Old Supply because at any point he might need that ego trip. And apparently mine was so starving for his ego to be fed that it doesn't matter. I was literally the captain of the cheerleading squad, and you can imagine I was very loud. I get very, and I'm still the cheerleader. That's what my family and friends say, because I lift people up if I love them, okay, is my point. I'm the perpetual cheerleader. If I couldn't make him then nobody can. And I was watching it in how many different conversations with Old Supply he had going at the same time. He was telling me, I love you. I want you to be my wife. I want you to be in my life. I want you to be, everything's all about you. I've never been in love before. I've never felt this way before. He had like 12 conversations going on with other people. All Old Supply. That were also feeding his ego. That's crazy. Who does that? A narcissist does that. A narcissist does that. And if you are keeping company with someone and you know that they have had contact with Old Supply and it bothers you, and they tell you don't be silly, it's nothing, she's a friend, or don't be silly, it's nothing, I can't help who contacts me, I love that one. I've had the same number 30 years. That's kind of where that would come out. I can't help who calls me. I'm not changing my number. I can't help it. I don't burn any bridges. If they want to call me, they can call me. And he was like proud of the fact that he would take any call at any point from any person that had been in his life. Letting me know he meant women too. And I was like, why? That didn't make any sense to me. And I said to him, that's funny because I'm not friends with any of my exes. Because I'm not. I'm friends with my high school ex, because through the years, I know his wife, he has children. That's something that we became friends again after some time. And I'm friends with my ex-husband, of course. But my ex, you're going to be friends with all your exes? Think about we non-disordered people, okay? Think of 5 boyfriends you've had. If you've had 5 boyfriends, you're going to be friends with all of them? I don't. I don't think that's, but here he's telling me, this is normal. I never change my number. I don't burn any bridges. Didn't it end badly? Yeah, but we're friends. You got to watch for that. Whatever excuse they give you, listen to that, what I'm telling you. They will say all of the aforementioned and other creative options to let you think that it's not a big deal. What they're doing is keeping Old Supply in case they need to call on someone to keep company with them, to talk with them on the phone, to whatever. To have a text station that's inappropriate. Sometimes that's all it takes to get their ego fed. How many times has that happened? I know 2 people I can think of right now that broke up. Finally, that was the final straw. After a long haul with one of them. And it was a text station she found. She's like, again? And the person was across the house. What can happen? The person's doesn't even live here. It doesn't matter. You're contacting Old Supply behind my back because they want to make sure that at any moment, should you have a bad day, should you not feed their ego properly, should they feel like it, should they be in the mood to make somebody else swoon. Like, I would read his text messages. Not only was he in contact with Old Supply, he would lead with compliments. He would have them peppered throughout the text station that I would find. I read everything. At one point, he gave me his phone and went to sleep, and I went to town for hours. Oh, yeah. Maybe I never told you guys that, but oh, yeah. Wasn't my highest moment, right? But I couldn't stop myself. You gave me $1 billion at that moment, that night, after disaster date after disaster date exploded all at once, and I was at wit's end, and he goes, here, take my phone. It's all yours. You couldn't have stopped me. $1 billion, I wouldn't have been able to stop myself. But I saw that with all the conversations that were going on, he was very complimentary in between, because then he knows they're going to come back with something. So that's the tennis match he wanted to keep going with all these different Old Supplies. That at any point he could get on the line with them and not only receive compliments and have a tennis match, volleyball match, back and forth of, flirtation, but even keep open the possibility that he could meet with them again if he wanted, or keep things on good terms if he wanted to step out on whoever he's with. It's really tough. I know it is. And if you're new, I'm really sorry, because you may right now, like let's say last night, this is what I think of. I know I just really give it a lot of thought, but you may have just last night had the conversation with him of something like this, which is, what? She's a friend. I can't help it. She reached out to me. She lives across the country. Nothing's going to happen, which is what my friend had. The final time she broke up with this person who was a narcissist, and they had a 6-year relationship. I've discussed her before, and she's the one I told you did the 180 and never turned back. No contact from this moment. She found this text station. She said what I just said to you, and he said what, she said, I found this again, and he had done it before with the same girl, and he had done it with other girls. Even if it didn't lead to anything, he knew it was upsetting to her. She found it again. He said, she's just a friend of a but. She said nope, broke up with him, and never saw him again. She got to the point that she realized that no. And she's the friend that said to me, it's never less than what you think. And then when you catch them, they minimalize it to you to make it think it's really nothing. Yet doth shalt not protest too much, or, that expression, which I'm not getting right now, I don't think. Come on. And then the talking to you in the way that makes you feel bad for even thinking something's off, that little gaslighting they throw in for good measure, yeah, don't fall for it. They are keeping Old Supply because they are up to no good. That is the reason they bother with Old Supply. All of the ones I mentioned, and none of it is good, unless it's an ex-spouse and they have children. And I'm not saying you can't fall into genuinely being friends with somebody who is an ex. I have friends. I know people that have done that. But they are genuinely friends. So the conversation that you would read, if somebody gave you that, would be that of a friend. Not flirtations back and forth. You follow me? And I'm not advising you to grab your person's phone and go through it. It was a demoralizing exercise for me. I had regretted reading half of what I read. Within minutes, I adjusted and knew the lesson was being learned, but man, it's dung. I don't recommend it. Just know that the truth is never less than what you think. And just know that if your ex is in touch with all of these exes and old, and he comes up with all these excuses, those are the reasons. So don't let them pull that wool over your eyes. Please keep your eyes open to that. I thank you for joining us. The landscapers are here. That's why she just piped up. I thank you for joining us, and please go ahead and hit sub, like, and share, and I'll see you next time.